So first thing first, I'm going to explain about the definition of anger stress response with verbal content. Anger is a natural, though sometimes unwanted or irrational, emotion that everybody experiences from time to time. Anger experts describe the emotion as a primary, natural emotion which has evolved as a way of surviving and protecting yourself from what is considered a wrongdoing. We may become angry when reacting to frustration, criticism, or a threat, and this is not necessarily a bad or inappropriate reaction, and this is what applies to the interviewee during the interrogation. The interviewee also may or may not feel irritated by other people's beliefs, opinions, and action, and hence, anger can affect this interrogation ability to communicate effectively and it making us more likely to say or do unreasonable or irrational things. Being unreasonable or irrational can lead others around us to feel threatened, resentful, or angry themselves, and again, these can all barrier to effective communication. Anger can be expressed in many ways. There are different types of anger that can affect people differently and can manifest to produce different action and signs of anger. The most common signs of anger are both verbal and non-verbal. It can be clear that someone is angry from what they say or how they say it, or from their tone of voice. Anger can also be expressed through body language and other non-verbal cues and trying to look physically bigger and therefore more intimidating, staring, frowning, and clenching of face. Some people are very good at internalizing the anger and it may be difficult to notice any physical sign. Therefore, anger can be presented to the interviewer or interrogator in one of two forms such as focused anger and covert anger. Focused anger means when the subject verbally attacks the interviewer. This type of behavior in an attempt to bully or intimidate the investigator. While covert anger means the subject attempts to find and attack the case facts with some evidentiary aspect of the case against him and tries to discount its ability to implicate him.
Hi, my name is Imran Hafiz. So now, I will talk about example case or statement that show anger stress response when in process interviewing. The example is police officer interviewing with Islamic terror suspect. Terrorist atrocities cause a range of emotion in observe. Fear, grief, anger, frustration, sadness, and sense of powerlessness and a strong desire to do something are common. Anger, feeling of powerlessness, and a desire for revenge are powerful emotions that can make the use of tricks, over-aggression, and even torture seem acceptable and even desirable when interacting with terrorist suspects. And there is a risk of such tactic being used during police interviews. As we know, terrorist is a brave man who is never afraid to die. In interviewing, terror is not easy and it causes a lot of anger stress response.
What is the possible non-verbal behavior associated with the anger stress response? So there are 4 possible non-verbal behavior associated with the anger stress response, which is crying, clenching one's fist, blushing, and not smiling. Usually, suspects will express their anger by crying when they were caught lying after the evidence found show that they were found guilty and involved in a crime, and they try to deny it. As for victims, they may cry because of the case that has befell them. Victims need to air their emotions and tell their sorry after the trauma of the crime. Clenching one's fist firmly is one of the possible non-verbal behavior. as subjects are very angry or upset with the situation. Subject may want to use those fists or the clenching may have more to do with trying to restrain themselves. Heavy blushing usually related to moments when we feel that the positive side of our image has been damaged by us or by someone else. When you are embarrassed, you are intended to blush subconsciously or consciously that the moment was embarrassing. Commonly, witnesses or victims are always in this situation. Witnesses who were caught in lie or made false statements, and they could not hide their blushing faces when investigators testify that their statements were false and did not fit the circumstances or evidence of the crime. In interrogation, good cop, bad cop tactics involve a team of 2 interrogators who take apparently opposing approach to the subject. The interrogators may interview the subject alternately or may confront the subject at the same time. The bad consequences of this tactic will cause subject not to smile or frown. Subject's comfort level will turn into uncomfortable. For example, the behavior of the 2 policemen confused the victim and it seems that they are not serious about doing their job. Victim express their anger by not smiling or frowning during interrogation to express their disappointment and frustration with the progress of the case.
Before we even start to interview a person with an anger issue problem, we must know how to handle them. This is to prevent any unwanted things happen during and after the interview. Plus, an additional information can also be gained if we know how to manage the interviewee anger. So these are the 4 steps to overcome with anger interviewee while interrogating or interview. So the first step is think before you speak. It is really hard to talk with someone who is in anger state. So take a few moments to collect your thoughts before saying anything and allow others involved in the situation to do the same. The second step is once they calm, nicely ask them. So as soon as the interviewee thinking clearly, ask them nicely to let their emotion out in an assertive but non-confrontational way. Be concerns and needs clearly and directly so they will not hurt others. So the third step is use humor to release tension. Lightening up can help diffuse tension. So use your humor, like jokes, to help you face what's making the interviewee angry and possibly any unrealistic expectation you have for how things should go. And also remember, avoid sarcasms. So the final step is stick with I statements. To avoid criticizing or placing blame, which might only increase the tension, use I statements to describe the problem. Be respectful and specific. For example, say, I am really upset if nobody going to tell me the truth. Instead of you say, you lie.
Hi, my name is Nurhayati. So I will explain the last part, which is the conclusion. As we know that in conclusion, acquiring and applying investigative interview skill can be both, which is complex and challenging. It requires the use of enhanced communication skill and the ability to be open and compassionate, even the most demanding of situation. So here, interviewers need to be able to plan, to apply structure, and to show discipline throughout. So they need to be able to reflect critically on their performance and be willing to understand intricate psychological process. Even when acquired, such skill can be easily be lost or dull if they are not valued, encouraged, promoted, or quality assured by supervisor and senior officer. So as we know that it is important to learn how to express anger appropriately and learn healthy and socially respectful methods to express angry feelings. It is very important to recognize the psychological effects of anger, especially with all the damage this emotion can cause to our body. Knowing how to control the anger can make a major impact on our relationships, employment, and especially in our health. That's all from me. Thank you.